Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how to use Beast Mode in AutoVectis. Beast Mode has been developed to help you process FTMS data with large transients. So here we're talking about transients that will be larger than 32 million points long after however many zero pads you're applying. This tutorial makes the assumption that you're already an AutoVectis user and you're seeking to understand how to use Beast Mode in particular. If you haven't used AutoVectis before, then we suggest you get support from either SpectraSwiss or from Vibration directly, or you look up our videos online for how to use it in normal mode. But having got that out the way, let's do a quick demonstration of Beast Mode in operation. We'll use this Bruker file for demonstration. Here you can see this file has a transient that is short enough that we could process it through the normal processing routes. But in this case we want to process it with 3 zero pads, and that will take it up to 67 million points in the transient before Fourier transform, and that's why we'll need to process it in Beast Mode. We could pre-select Beast Mode by checking this checkbox here, but for the purpose of the demo I'll leave it off so we can see what happens. Otherwise we'll use the normal sorts of settings we'd use when processing dissolved organic matter data like this. And so as usual, to start the phasing process, we hit the begin button. When AutoVectis begins to load the data, it realizes that the transient is going to be very large, and so it pops up this dialog box to give you some options. You can continue to process the data in normal mode by hitting the continue button, or you can hit the back button and go back to the beginning and reduce the number of zero pads, or even the fraction of the transient being processed. Or finally, and as we'll do here, you can engage Beast Mode by clicking the Beast button. And if you've come this far, you probably don't fear the beast, so let's click the button and get it out of its cave. So now the beast's automated workflow is in operation. And behind the scenes, AutoVectis is loading the data, apodizing it, zero padding and Fourier transforming it, performing the pre-phasing peak detection, and then it can begin to optimize the phase correction function for the spectrum. By now, the spectrum has already been phased, and in the background AutoVectis is undertaking the normal absorption mode baseline correction. And then once that's complete, the spectrum is displayed. So now we can zoom in to see the normal absorption mode spectrum. One thing you'll notice here is that there's no magnitude mode spectrum being displayed. Not displaying the magnitude mode spectrum is one of the steps we've undertaken to allow Beast Mode to process these very large transients. In this initial run-through, I've processed this file in ab initio mode. This is the mode when AutoVectis uses any phase encoding information stored in the file to generate the initial phase correction function, and then it optimizes it across the complete spectrum. But of course, this is only one of the routes to phasing in AutoVectis. Here we can see all the available routes for generating an optimized phase correction function. And all of these routes are still available in Beast Mode. In that quick run-through, I used the ab initio mode. But you can also use recalculate mode, and that uses information in the spectrum itself to generate a phase correction function for optimization. Or you can apply a previously saved phase calibration function that was generated for this file, or load and optimize one that was generated for a similar but different file. Or you can use the current phase correction function, and that's the one that's still in memory from the last file you processed. And as with normal mode, in Beast Mode, nearly all of these workflows are completely automated, and all you need to do is choose which one it's going to follow. And you can select which workflow you want to use by using this drop-down box. So let's reprocess this file in recalculate mode. Because we didn't change the checkbox, Beast Mode is still selected. So now AutoVectis is loading the transient and applying the apodization and zero padding that the controls indicate. And then, having selected the peaks, it can identify an initial region to use for brute force phasing. You can still in beast mode go in and tune this phase correction function manually if you need to, but normally the automated version will work fine and all you'll have to do is click accept. And then that phase correction function is optimized and extended across the whole spectrum. Because the magnitude mode spectrum isn't being displayed in beast mode, how can you tell if the spectrum has been phase corrected properly? Well, the best way is to look at the residual phase error for each peak after phase correction, and you can do that on the Phasing Excellence tab. This plot shows you that residual phase error on each peak. If the phasing process has been successful, then you'd expect the residual phase error on each peak to be low, or at least to be tracked by the polynomial phase function that passes through them, that's the blue line. If the points on these plots are scattered randomly, or they follow a different function than the phase correction function identified, then that means the file hasn't been phase corrected properly. In that case, you can either change the order of the phase calibration function here, or you can set the phasing peak detect threshold to a higher level. And you can make that change on the Phasing Peak Detect tab. Although it wasn't needed, we'll accept this new value and then reprocess the file again through a different workflow. And as always in beast mode, in the background AutoVectis is loading the data, apodizing it, zero padding it, Fourier transforming it, and then undertaking a pre-phasing peak detection to prepare the file for phasing. And then in this case it's going to reapply the previous phase correction function for this file. Once the absorption mode spectrum has been produced, you can go on and take that down any one of AutoVectis' downstream processing workflows. So as a first step, we can detect the peaks. This file contains dissolved organic matter data, and for this kind of data I'd normally set a peak detection threshold of 6. And then I'd normally send this file and its peak list to the Autologous tool for assignment. And in beast mode you can still use all the batch processing tools, and we can access these in the Batch Process tab. And to learn how to use these tools, we have a bunch of videos available on the AutoVectis YouTube channel, and they're also posted on the Vibration website. So I hope this simple guide to how to use beast mode has been useful, but as always, if you have any other questions, you can contact us directly at vibration.com, or you can speak to your representative at SpectraSwiss. And if you want to find out how to use any of the other tools available, then you should check out the AutoVectis YouTube channel. So that's all for now, and I hope to see you in the next video.